Hey YouTubers, got a new video for you guys. I'm gonna keep this one short, not a lot going on here, but what I do have, this is my consew cp206r. I made a video about threading this for sewing a couple years ago, and I've had since then people ask me about bobbin winding. The reason why I never made any follow-up videos on the sewing machine is because shortly after I made that video, I think it was maybe I want to say a couple months after the fact, the motor on it went out. So what happened was, I'll show you guys. This is the motor that comes with the sewing machine. All right, I took it off, and then there's a bracket that goes on the back of the sewing machine. So motor attaches to the bracket, and then the bracket attaches to the sewing machine. The motor went out. It would what would happen is when I turn the machine on, it would run for maybe 30 seconds, and then the motor would stop working. I went online. I went to Amazon, which is the site where I bought the sewing machine from, and the closest thing I could find was this. This motor, it looks similar in dimensions, but it is completely different. The mounting holes on that other motor doesn't exist on this. The front of the motor where the pulley attaches, this is the pulley that came with it. It's completely different. So see, it's just bobbin. It's just a spool type pulley. The pulley that came on the original motor, it has teeth for a toothed belt, like you would see like a timing belt or something like that. So the pulley is completely different. The diameter of the shaft on here is completely different, so I couldn't even change the pulleys over. So there was nothing, even though this is similar in size to the original motor, there was nothing on here that I could use to get the sewing machine to work. That's not what this video is about. That's just letting you know that if you have one of these sewing machines and the motor goes out, you're gonna have a problem. Because even this morning, and we are in March 15th, 2024, even as of 2024, I looked on Amazon and you still cannot buy the motor for this. So if the motor goes out, it's gonna be a problem. However, I have had quite a few people ask me about the bobbin winding up the bobbins to put in the shuttle feed to use the sewing machine. And you know, it's been years I've had people ask me, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna dust this machine off and I'm going to make a quick video showing you guys how the bobbin winding goes. And when I'm done with that, I'm probably gonna just sell it on Marketplace, see if I can get a couple dollars for it, because I don't really see how I would be able to find a motor to fix this, and I don't really want to go through the headache. What happened was, once the motor went out and I wasn't able to use the machine anymore, I ended up upgrading. So let me show you. This is what I use now. This is full size industrial. Also a consew. This is a P1206RB. Much more useful machine, much more capable, quieter. It gives a much nicer, more consistent stitch than that little one. You know, but you get what you pay for, because you know, this machine here, this what you're looking at, this costs 3 times, well actually it costs almost 4 times as much as that other one. So yes, it's a much nicer machine. You get what you pay for. You know, if you want to be $1,400 into a sewing machine, if you do enough work that you need something like that, then have at it. If you don't, then you know, that little one, it actually served me very well for at least 4 years. You know, so even though it broke, it wasn't crap. You know, for 4 years of service doing upholstery work, I definitely got my money out of it. I can't really complain. You know, it was like 4 something, I think it was. Money well spent. I definitely got my money's worth out of it. It worked great. It did what I needed to do. But with that said, I absolutely love this machine that I have now. Very nice unit. Maybe I'll do a review on that. So let's get right into the bobbin winding process on the cp206r. There are other sewing machines for sale on Amazon that are very, very similar in operation, and so I'm guessing the process would be similar. It's real simple. So let me show you what's going on here, okay? In here, in the sewing machine, the first step in the process is removing the bobbin. If you have the sewing machine, more than likely you already know the process, but I'm going to go through it anyway for those who don't know. Your bobbin is in your shuttle, and your shuttle is down here under the sewing machine. So let me back up a little bit. See, this piece just slides in and out. There's nothing holding it in place to keep it from sliding out. There are two metal tangs underneath that are spring-loaded to keep it sliding, but that's it. Now, down in here, this is where your bobbin is, and there are two pieces that are important to this. There's this top arm that you can see that's in that groove, and that keeps it from spinning around, and then there's this tang that allows it to be removed. So to remove it, you just pull this arm back and the whole assembly slides out. And once you've done this a few times, you do it without even thinking about it. You don't even slide this piece. You just reach under there. You know what you're reaching for. You're reaching for this little piece right here. And then once you pull that, you're able to slide it off of the pin. This pin right here. Okay. See, there's a groove in the pin. Well, it holds on to that groove, and so pulling that arm makes it able to slide off. And then when you're putting it back on, then you just line up the bobbin with the pin, make sure that arm is facing straight up, and then the assembly process is the same. You just pull that arm back, slide it in, and there it is. It's in place. It's not going to come out. Now, once we have that out, the part we're interested in is the bobbin. So I'm gonna pull this bobbin out of here. Hold on, this is gonna probably be a two-hand process. All right, it was a two-hand process, and you have the bobbin. When you want to wind these bobbins, you can wind one while you're sewing with another, okay? And you get multiple of these. I think I got 6 with the sewing machine when I got the sewing machine originally. You can buy more of them if you want. You know, they're pretty cheap. I think it's like $10 for a 6-pack or something like that. So not real expensive. If you think you're gonna want more, if you want to keep multiple color threads wound at the same time, whatever. But anyway, so we go over here to the top of the sewing machine. There's this pin, and this screws in. And you get the sewing machine. This comes in the kit with all the parts, and you just screw it in the top here, and this guides the thread. See, it's got a hole here, and then it's got a hole around the side here, and then so your thread comes in and it goes around these and then goes through all of these to for you to be able to sew, which I already made a video on that, so I'm not gonna go through that. But over here, this is what you're interested in. This pin right here with this metal tang on it, this is where you wind your bobbins. So you see it has that metal tang right there, and you look on this bobbin. Let me turn it so at 12 o'clock you see that notch. Okay, that notch has to line up with that metal tang, and there's one on either side. But you see that notch at 12, and then now I turn it, you see it's at 3. And so what you're gonna do is you're gonna take the bobbin and you slide it down over that metal tang, and it's gonna pop out. And once you turn the bobbin to where that tang is aligned, it's not gonna be a hard set, but it's gonna wanna stay in line with it. So it kind of holds it in place. All right, that little metal spring holds the bobbin from spinning freely. Now, once you've done that, so let me show you guys. So this controls the head, and this spins when the sewing machine is working. Now, see, I'm spinning it, and you see nothing is happening up here. Well, once you slide this over towards this white piece here, like that, the gears engage. And so now when I turn this, you see it spinning. Now, the way this winds, it winds from the back side in. So now that I have it the wrong way, it's not gonna work. So what you do is you just pull it up, flip it over, put it back down, and see now, I'll just do that for simplicity. And now see, as you spin it, this rotates. Now, the reason this white plastic piece is here, that is a check, I guess that's a check piece, and all this does is push the bobbin away from the gears so that as it winds, it pushes it further and further away, and then when the bobbin is completely full, then it'll pop away from here. And even if it doesn't pop away from there all the way, it'll move away far enough that the gears down in here aren't engaged with the head, and so it'll stop spinning the bobbin. And now when you come to the top, you see this white piece, the lobe of it, it's like a cam, the lobe is eccentric, and so you can loosen this screw and you can adjust the lobe to decide how much winding you want on this bobbin. If you want it halfway full like this is now, or if you want it filled all the way up, which I wouldn't recommend filling it all the way up because then you run into problems with sewing. But there, yeah, that's the adjustment on this. You can just loosen the screw and then turn this accordingly, and it'll decide how much this winds up before it stops working. And then once it reaches that point, then it'll stop spinning the bobbin. And even if the gears remain engaged and the bobbin is full, because this spring, it's just spring loaded on here, it'll spin around freely without this shaft, and it won't break anything. And so that is how you wind your bobbin up to get it ready to sew with the sewing machine. It's pretty easy once you understand it. Sorry it took me years to make this video, but I've been working on other stuff and working on my other machines, so that's why. So as usual, if you like it, click like. If you want to see more, click subscribe. Have a good day.